Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is the No Level Cap podcast, and today we'll be giving you our top games from 2025.
Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the No Level Cap podcast with all your friendly neighborhood black nerds, where we cover all the anime, all the gaming, all the nerd culture, absolutely zero of the BS, with a new episode every Monday morning. I am your host, Sage Ashford. These are my co-hosts, Rakeem Beck, Devin Butts, Terrence Flowers, Will Coleman. This week, like Devin said, we're getting into all our favorite games of 2025. Of course, our list will have to look a little differently than most places. Like, we're not an official video game outlet, and we don't get games for free, so our lists are more varied. Some of us played more games this year. Some of us have played fewer games this year. Some of us have played a lot of older games rather than just 2025 stuff. So with that in mind, I asked everybody to give me their best 3 to 5 games from last year. Let's get started. Rakeem, you are up first, man. Your number 5 is Hoopland.
Yes, sir. So anyone who watches the podcast may know I am the Steam Deck guy and the indie game guy of the group. And, well, Devin also, he plays a lot of indie games as well. But I really enjoyed this game, Hoopland. It's an indie game that's on mobile and Steam. The best part about it is it harkens back to that old, like, really NES style basketball games, but also has a ton of customization features where it's moddable, and there's a big community around it that add custom players to the game, custom arenas to the games. It has multiple season modes. You can play through college. You can play through an NBA season. You can customize the minutes. You can customize the players. I imported through the game itself the entire NBA season from this past year with the full rosters, and I could play all the teams as one. And that's an option. You can do that. You could have one where, like, I put the Monstars in the game or something like that. The season mode is very robust. You can customize your stats. You have abilities. And you can play and tweak the difficulty. And it's constantly being worked on too. Like, the developer is very active in adding updates and improving the game. It became my little addiction before work to play a few minutes of. I never was a 2K guy. I always liked more of the arcadey basketball games. So this hit the sweet spot for me, and I've been playing a lot of it. It really took up more time than you would expect from me. So I've been really enjoying it on my Steam Deck.
Okay. It's a great first pick. I did a little inside information. We'll give y'all a little peek behind the fourth wall. Right before the podcast, I legit asked Keem, I was like, are you trolling me? Because we talk video games a lot. Like, we're roommates, so we talk video games a lot. I had never heard him bring this game up before, but I mean, like, y'all just heard him. He was serious. He was passionate about it. So, I mean, like, it's cool. This is a cool little game. I had never actually heard of it before. Great first choice.
Yeah, I had picked it up on my phone, like, I think a while ago, and then it came to Steam later this year, and I was like, oh, now we cook it on my Steam Deck, and that's a perfect Steam Deck game. Perfect.
At first, I was like, are they using the actual teams? Because when I saw certain names of cities, I was like, how are they getting away with that? Then I realized, like, they're off brand.
Yeah, but it does have, like, imports, and there is a good Discord community that has all these files. You could import the WNBA or import your favorite players in, or different teams for real. So, like, I have the whole NBA in my game, like the actual NBA, so I can just play that way if I want to.
All right, Devin, you're up with number 5. Your number 5 was something else. Now it is Lies of P, Overture. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So the one I had was Ninja Gaiden 4. I did enjoy that game a lot, but I got to this a little later, and playing Overture, I freaking loved this game when it first came out initially, and the DLC is just everything I could have asked for. Just hitting on all cylinders. New weapons, the new locales are dope. The new outfits, the bosses are still phenomenal. I've heard some people say this had, like, one of the hardest bosses of the year from last year, and some people are saying, like, one of the bosses might be one of the best Souls bosses, like, ever. Like, so yeah, I love Souls game, and like I've said before, if y'all have seen this podcast, y'all know how highly I talk about this game. It is undeniably the best Souls game that's not from Software. I've said it before, I say it again. If you were to play this game and didn't know who developed it, you would have just assumed From Software made this game. this boss fight right here that we're seeing was so fire. The visuals are dope, the locales are dope. It's just a good time, man. I know that there's some people say soul slop, and there's like so many Souls games. That boss also was fire. But this is one of them games where people like, this is a labor love. And I've watched TBH talk about this, and he's saying like people need to look out for NeoWiz. I totally agree. Like, this is a company, if they make something, I'm gonna be looking for it. Like I'm waiting for the sequel to this game or whatever else they're working on. But these guys know their stuff, they know their craft. The paying homage obviously to like Bloodborne and Souls in general, but more so Bloodborne, which is also one of my favorite Souls games beside this one. So yeah, this game was fantastic. Like I said, I got to it late, but me playing it, I'm just like, yeah, I think I like this more than Ninja Gaiden. It's everything I want, man.
Okay, all right.
Solid fifth place choice. So my fifth place choice actually is something that is on Devin's list. I think this is one of the only games where any of us shared anything in common. We all just kind of played a bunch of different stuff, which is not to say that we wouldn't have liked other games that other people played. We just didn't have time to get to it. So I'm going to skip my fifth choice, and we will come back to it later when we talk about it much later in the podcast. Terrence, no, my bad. We're back to Rakeem. Rakeem, your fourth place game is Where Winds Meet.
Yeah, I chose Where Winds Meet from my list because it blew all my expectations. I didn't know what I was getting into with a free-to-play game that was lauding itself as like this big experience. I've been bitten in the butt in the past by other free-to-play games, but I would say that Where Winds Meet beats those games. Just the utter amount of content. Like, this feels like how I felt playing this was like playing GTA San Andreas for the first time, or Red Dead, where like the amount of content in the game itself is just like so much. The bar for entry being free, it's already a winner. I played a good amount of this with some friends of mine. They liked it more than I did. The only reason I'm not playing it constantly now is because it takes up a whole lot of space and I play a lot of different games. But the quality is there. Combat's good. Lots of content. Very multiplayer friendly. Some features in there that you wouldn't expect, like being a doctor and healing other players, doing investigations, kind of like spur of the moment side quests with lots of mini games, all types of mini games.
Stealing shit, getting thrown in jail.
Exactly. So just like a lot of immersive content that allows the game to feel way more dynamic and interesting than you would ever expect. Like the total package here is well worth several hours. This has been a good paid product. The fact that it's free is kind of insane to me. But yeah, this just shows that the free-to-play model has changed a lot, and it's evolved to a point where the competition is going to be stiff. Like, remember when Genshin Impact came in a few years ago and changed the game? I feel like Where Winds Meet has come in and kind of done a similar thing here with its free-to-play model. So I had to put it on my list because it just blew all my expectations. It was quite fun, very interesting, a lot of content, dungeon crawling, RPG elements.
Shut the beer.
It hits all the right spots for
that's an early part in the game
experience.
In fact, I think it's part of the tutorial.
It is. Yeah. So yeah, that's why it's on my list. I had to put it on here because it just exceeded where the Buddha's palm from the movie. Yeah, they put that in there too. A lot of references to Chinese martial arts movies in this game as well.
I think this game, I was excited for this game, and I am upset with myself that I didn't spend more time on it. I played maybe 5 hours, something like that. I didn't get very far into it at all. It's just other stuff. I was busy with work and things like that. But this game really did live up to what my Well, it wasn't a sham, which is what I like. I think a lot of people looked at this game and was like, hold on, this is doing a lot. Is this game a sham? And it wasn't. One of the things I'll say that shocked me the most about this game is I agree with Rakeem in that it is going to cause a shift. If it continues at the same level of popularity that it's at right now, it's going to cause a shift and force people to hopefully do free-to-play games a little bit differently instead of just constantly generating more Genshin clones. However, I have noticed that because it didn't review very well, people pointing out some of the flaws that it does have. And I mean, like, you get to have those flaws when you're free, like when you're not asking anybody for money. There are certain fans are more willing to let you get away with things. But like, because of that, there are people in the gaming media that think that this game wasn't a big deal, and I'm like, no, that's not correct. There are it managed to get millions of players when it first launched. It has a very positive rating on Steam, which is, if you look up its open or Metacritic rating and then look up its Steam rating, you're going to get two different impressions on what this game is or what people think this game is. Like on OpenCritic, I think it's like a 72, 71, something like that. Just kind of a very middling game that it's like, okay, it's fine. And then if you look up Steam and everybody's response to it on Steam, it's like, holy shit, I can't believe you can do all of this and explore this massive world. And basically all the things that Rakeem said. And so I do think that this game is going to become, and I hope that it continues to improve and continues to make its mark on the landscape so that we do see other ways of doing free-to-play games that isn't just Genshin.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely tired of seeing that.
Man, I think they had a little bit of combat recently. I saw like a little trailer, like an in-depth trailer on Silver Palace, which is yet another Genshin clone, and I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah, I saw it too. Yeah,
like let's get to something else. Speaking of getting to something else, the number 4 for Devin was the first Berserker Khazan. Brother, you want to tell us about it?
Oh yeah, this was this was a treat for me. When I first saw this game, I was hyped for. I know me and Will was like, man, this game is looking dope. I think that universe is pretty cool because we just had DNF Duel a couple of years ago. So it's like, okay, we got 2 games out of that universe now, and I think both have done pretty solid jobs of being good games. DNF Duel is a pretty solid fighting game, even though it wasn't quite as popular as a lot of other fighting games. It was still a good fighting game in itself. And this, they went the Souls route. It's a little more kind of character action mixed with Souls because the combat's a little more fluid and like kind of over the top than like most Souls games. But this is such a great game. I love the art style and like the characters and stuff. The bosses. Another game where the bosses were phenomenal. Another game that has one of the hardest bosses from last year, and like a 3-phase boss. Like you don't get that often. Like most bosses are 2 phases and that's it. If you do all the side content in this game, the final boss is 3 phases, and I was surprised with that because I didn't even realize what was going on when I fought him. But yeah, great bosses. The combat is phenomenal. Like the combat is so good. You got 3 styles to choose from. You got the halberd, the great sword, and the dual wheel. It's phenomenal. You can like that alone gives you like 3 times to play the game again, so you can go through it and use all the weapons. Because if it's not type of game where you can like put points into something and then you have to pick one and specialize on that one. I know Max has said like he felt like this is some of the best great sword like gameplay, and I agree. Like this great sword is so fun playing this game. The sound design with the combat is meaty, it's heavy. Every hit feels good. I mean, once you unlock a lot of the abilities later on in the game, you almost feel like you low key, like I said, you're a step down from like a DMC or a Ninja Gaiden because it's so many like combos and stuff you can like link together. There's like 5 parries in the game. It kind of takes a little bit of getting used to because like you have to, like most games, this is 1 parry or maybe 2, but this game has like at least 4. I remember you have to remember like there's a symbol that pops up on the screen. You have to be ready for that. So it takes a lot of like remembering certain mechanics and stuff like that in systems. But this game is so good. On the back half of it, like some of the side quest stuff was a little repetitive, but overall the game was good. I'm definitely looking out for what Neeple has next. I don't know if they're gonna do a sequel to this. I'm hoping that it gets some like DLC, but this was phenomenal. To me, it's not quite as good as Lies of P, but it's like right just a smidgen below Lies of P. Another great entry in the Souls-like genre.
Okay. I'm glad that this game turned out well. Yeah. Like I remember this game being hyped up for a very long time, only for it to every time you thought it was coming out, it was getting pushed back. It would get these random trailers pop up, and you're like, oh man, is it finally time? No, it's not time. And for it to come out and do as well as it did is an accomplishment. So
yes.
Now let's get to my first game. Oh man, I'm still kind of pissed that this game was revealed in the way that it was. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. I'm still pissed that this game was just kind of thrown out randomly. Just one day they were like, "Hey, we're making Xenoblade X Definitive Edition." I'm like, man, fuck y'all. Like, give my game some respect. Like, this is one of my favorite games. I love the Xenoblade franchise, even though I despise its battle system. But it's just more than any of the rest, I love Xenoblade X. Just the gigantic open world that it places you in, because as you can see from the trailer, humanity, it gets its ass kicked by an alien race. It's forced to flee the Earth, and part of the remnants of humanity wind up landing on this alien open world called Mira. And man, do they really make it feel like, when you know how they say a lot of games are open world, but it's like, shit, this game has been open world. That's not Mira. Mira, and from the very beginning, you're like, yep, this feels like I need this game to be open. I need it to explore. You need to be able to go all these different places, and it really does feel alien. Like every environment that you're in feels more alien, more different from the last, and you get a gigantic cast to explore it with. You have a created character, but there's also 25 other characters that you can get based on, like, you're trying to effectively colonize this world, trying to build a new home for yourself in amidst all this alien flora and fauna that is often hostile. And so you have the group that is Blade, that's meant to like go out and fight against the threats, protect all of humanity, bring back resources, supplies, the necessary things for you to keep going. And you get to pick out every character that you want. There's the fact that it's not just like, oh, hey, you've got these characters that you get to team up with, but that are introduced in the story, but also like side characters that have their own storylines, and you can bring them in. They come into the main storyline, and it feels like almost like a different world. It's like the TV, like the main storyline feels like a movie, and then like the in between, like everything in between the main storyline feels like the television show to back up the movie to further develop the world. And it just feels incredible to play. And, you know, the definitive edition clears up some of the problematic quality of life issues that I thought the initial game had, because I always thought that it was a flawed masterpiece, and Xenoblade X just kind of takes away the flawed and just leaves a masterpiece. It also gives the game a proper ending, which, I mean, like, the original game ended on something of a huge cliffhanger, only for you to be like, oh, this game didn't sell as well as it should have because it was on fucking Wii U. And so, like, for them to come back and do the definitive edition and be like, well, let's just go ahead and close those gaps and wrap the story up. It's like, okay, I appreciate that. And, you know, what else can you say to a game that lets you play through effectively a mecha anime as a plot? Because you get giant robots midway through the game. And it's like, man, I can't. If you know anything about me and how much I love giant robots, like, there's no way I was ever going to say no to a game like this. And beyond that, I'm just happy that it turned out to be everything I could have imagined and more. The only thing that I could improve on is, like, still that shitty battle system. Xenoblade has probably my least favorite battle system in gaming. Even a game that we're going to talk about later whose battle system I do not like. Devin loves it, but I don't love it. But I still prefer that battle system to this all day long. It's just exhausting. But other than that, like, this game was just a fantastic. I didn't get a chance to spend as many hours with this game as I wanted, but also I'm kind of like lumping in the fact that, like, when it came out in 2015, it was one of my favorite video games ever. And so it's still that, just with better graphics, better artistic design, and finished up storyline. So there you go.
Just to be clear, you don't have to play any of the other games to get into this at all, right?
Absolutely not. This is, I do think with the new ending, they kind of tie this world into Xenoblade 1 through 3, but in reality, no, like, it doesn't even seem like the same world. It's a different environment. So no, like, you can play this solo, because when this came out, only one Xenoblade was out. It was just Xenoblade 1.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is effectively just like another side universe. So
okay,
you can play this without knowing anything about the other Xenoblades. All right, man. Let's bring in some of our other people. We know it's been me, Keem, and Devin yapping it up. Let's bring in Terrence, man. Your third game, your number 3 is Sword of the Sea, brother. You want to talk about it?
Sword of the Sea is like a combination of everything that Giant Squid, the studio that worked on this, has done so far, as you see right there. Like Abzu, they did Abzu, The Pathless, and the devs from that game company that worked on Journey, they're the ones that went to Giant Squid. So they worked on Journey as well. And this game is a combination of pretty much all those games. And the result is amazing. Like, first off, the visuals for this, incredible. Like, as you see on the screen right now, this game has art style for days. This is one of those games where photo mode like it's a must. Like I'm not even a big photo mode guy like that, and there's just some scenes in the game where I'm like, wow, I need to take a picture of this just to reference later. Like it just looks so good. Like the game starts you off in sand, but you do get to go to other locations. Like you go through the snow, you go through water, you go through lava. You get to interact with different aquatic creatures, and you get to even ride some of them. Like you get to ride a whale, which is really cool. This is one of those games where, you know, people have their cozy games. Some people have games like Animal Crossing where you're doing crafting and you're getting to develop your island, stuff like that. Sage, I know you're into games like Power Wash Simulator, so you have like the simulation games where the relaxation comes from doing something that's not like mundane in a sense, but there's still like that relaxing factor to it that you don't get from
feeling.
that you don't get from like an action oriented game. This is not an action game. You're not going around taking out enemies. You're not doing anything that's like high octane per se. It's more so about you taking in your environment, going along with the visual storytelling. There's also lore that you get throughout the game, like little tablets that tells you what's happened. This is one of those games where a lot of it is based on exploration and you just taking in the environment and the beauty that comes along with it as you restore the sea to this land. Just to give a quick backstory on the story of the game, which there is surprisingly a story to it. Like in comparison to some of the other games that this developer has worked on, this one seems to have more of a straight through story where it's not like directly told to you, but as you go around the world, you see that the character that you're playing is a wraith who is like a reincarnated like soldier or resurrected soldier, excuse me. And he's doing what he can to bring the sea back to like this barren land that has been just turned barren because of this war that's going on. And you learn little bits and pieces about the war and the two different sides that fought in this war and how the outcome turned the area into the land that it is now instead of the beautiful area that it was before. And so yeah, I like if you're into this style of cozy game, I highly recommend this. Like visually, this is a game that's all on its own. It's such a joy to look at. Like the environments are such a joy to go through. There's like the skating part of it, as you can see. There's like it doesn't go that in depth into it. Like you're not doing a whole bunch of tricks. It's not like straight up Tony Hawk, but the gameplay end of it in terms of how you go around gliding and everything through the sand in different environments, it feels so smooth. There are not any like frame hiccups, anything like that. It's just a very beautiful game that I highly recommend that if you're into this style of game that you check out. I don't know how well it did numbers wise. Like I feel like it came and kind of went, and it might have been one of those games that I feel like went maybe under the radar for some people, but if you have the time, I suggest checking it out. It's $30. It's not expensive. It's a game that you can beat in maybe like 6 to 8 hours, maybe even less than that if you just really hammer it home. But if you're really taking in the environments, you can get lost time-wise in this game. But yeah, Sword of the Sea, I highly recommend it. Beautiful game.
I still gotta play this one. This one's one of my ones. I hate I didn't get to play it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of video
if you
games,
enjoy
man.
Journey, I would say this is very much an evolution of Journey. Like this
I
is Journey
love
times
Journey.
5.
Wow.
I freaking love Journey.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Seeing him do it at skate on the sword makes me wish that Metaphor had had like more open environments where you could skate on the sword.
That
Because
is
you can
really
move
cool.
around in sword, but it's only like in towns and stuff.
Will, you want to talk about House of Necrosis, your number 3?
Yeah, so I picked this game up because I watched the if y'all have ever heard of Balkabasu, who does a lot of Resident
Yes.
Evil speed runs. He picked this up and started playing it, and I was like, let me see what this is about. And I sat there and I watched it for like a good 30 minutes, about an hour, and I was like, you know what? I might have to go get this. House of Necrosis, done by a solo dev, Warkus. This is his channel that we're on right now. But he made basically a mystery dungeon game mixed with Resident Evil. And I couldn't shake. I was like, you know what? I might want to try this. And I can't lie to you, it gives me the same feeling I get when I may sit down with something like Hades.
Was that
or
a limit
something
break?
like-
It definitely was.
No, actually, it's funny. I can tell
Like
you
a
right now about a
special
couple
move.
of the gameplay aspects. Like throughout the game, literally every time you go in, things change. So you can get in there, fight something new, or maybe die and have to come back. And like you level up along the way as well. Your equipment levels up as you use it. You gain spells and whatnot. Yes, it looks silly. I can't lie. But the more I played it, the more I'm like, there's so much here. Like it's really
looks like Final Fantasy VII as a horror game.
I mean,
This is like Parasite Eve vibes.
Yeah.
Hey man, like bro, you can pick up spell books to learn spells. You can get emergency exits. You can get brand new guns, new knives, new equipment to wear through the dungeons. You can do that little first person mode so you can see what's ahead of you. Everything it's one of those games that like once you set into it, like once you get how the gameplay loop operates and you like it, you're gonna play it for quite some time. You're gonna sit there trying to go through the floors and everything. Like I said, it's Resident Evil Mystery Dungeon RPG. Bam. And it just works. It's one of those games that just works. I like it a ton. I might actually play it today, but it's it's just a game that hits my level of Resident Evil. It hits the mystery dungeon part that I like. I couldn't ask for more. And then on top of that, it's only like $12. So shout outs to Warkis for this game. You can put in a lot of time in this without even realizing you're putting in a lot of time into it.
It looks pretty cool.
This looks very cool. I'm not a horror fan at all, but like I am impressed. Like it's just such a creative idea, and it does take you back to that PS1 era where you got like games like this, just weird games like Parasite Eve. It's Parasite Eve without being overly like, oh hey, this is obviously Parasite Eve, like that one other game. So very cool.
Yeah.
Rakeem, your number 3 is Borderlands.
Yes, sir.
Borderlands.
Sorry, that cleared my throat for a second there. BL4. I got to say, I had a good time with it. Played with some friends of mine, as we're all Borderlands fans. You guys know I've played pretty much every Borderlands game. The big thing with BL4 is that this is their first foray into an open world and also a new planet environment, new villains, new characters attached to. Still some favorites, of course, as you can see at Moxie. But it was just something like where they attempted to do some things differently. And I think for the most part, they succeeded. I had a good time playing this. I think there was great diversity in the play styles. Borderlands has always had this combination of looting and shooting. Diablo meets Call of Duty to a degree, where you're gunning things down and you're leveling up. There's a lot of build variety. There's a lot of places to explore, these really big dungeons and super bosses to fight. And it made it easier to do the grind with some of the bosses. Because like in Borderlands, the big thing about Borderlands, the end game is gun chasing. Like a lot of games have different end games where it's like monster, boss raids and all that. Borderlands is always chasing the best guns to make the best build for your characters. That's what makes Borderlands 4. And they never forgot that. I will say from some people in the community that didn't like the open world direction. And all I can say is that what else was going to happen? Every game got bigger. And it was always a game where you were in very large environments with a vehicle going from place to place. And it got bigger every time. It was turning into open world every game anyway. So this is like the natural conclusion. But ultimately, I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the play styles of the characters. I actually found it hard sometimes to like stick with one character. Like, I kind of want to play multiple people. Like, these guys have interesting play styles. These guys have interesting play styles. Well, typically I'll stick with one character, like Zero from Borderlands 2 or Mordecai from Borderlands 1. If you know what that means, it means I got a type. But this time I really struggled playing one character. I kind of wanted to try everybody and just had a lot of fun. I got to go back and finish it. I spent some time. I stopped to finish some other games, but I'm going to go back and finish BO4 when I get a chance and get more into the end game and get ready for some of the DLCs. So, yeah, ultimately, I really enjoyed it. I liked it and enjoyed playing with my friends.
I am happy that this game didn't turn out to be a disappointment for y'all because I know that y'all loved the original Borderlands and certainly Borderlands 2 y'all were crazy about.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
still the best.
Yeah, I know Borderlands 3 kind of got away from some of the things that people loved about Borderlands, and it seems like Borderlands 4, it makes it seem like it's going to be a harder thing to get back to form than I might have thought. But also, Borderlands 4, to my understanding, sold pretty well. You know, they perform
Yeah,
pretty
all
well. at least
Borderlands
in the-
games have all sell pretty well. So that's not really. Yeah, it looked good.
So good for them. They just need a CEO that'll shut up sometimes.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
at
that's all
least
they
washed the
need.
taste of the movie out of people's mouths.
Oh yeah,
It is
Oh, yeah.
definitely, no matter what anybody says, it's better than the movie. It is better than the movie. What low bar that is to set.
Oof.
Devin, you're up with Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
Oh yeah, this game right here is fantastic. When we first saw the initial reveal of like the little new Sega initiative with like their titles franchises coming back, all the games look pretty dope. This one, like in particular, like the art style, I'm like, man, this looks so good. We kept seeing more of it, and then they finally got a demo. When I played the demo, I was sold. The music is absolutely phenomenal. They've got some of the like one of the legends that worked on like the OG Sega stuff back, and it's such a good game. It's a little different. It's not a full-on Metroidvania, but it has Metroidvania elements because like OG Shinobi was more of a side scroller, like in the old school, like Ninja Gaiden style. Even though Ninja Gaiden was a little different, a little more vertical, I feel. This game is so much fun. I played this game all the way through. I'm almost like at the cusp of like 100%. And it's like a few things you gotta do, like get an S rank on all the arcade missions, stuff like that. But I'm like super close. Like this game was phenomenal. I think this game was overlooked this year. And then granted, there's so many good games out, but this was definitely one I feel like was a diamond in the rough. It's a little different from like certain games like Silksong, because like one thing about this game, the enemies don't have hitboxes, so you can just walk through an enemy. Um, Unlike Hollow Knight, where even if you walk an enemy, you'll take damage. So this game, like the challenge is there, but the challenge is more so like once you get like later in the game with some of the enemies with armor, they mix up certain enemy types together. But the real challenge is like the platforming. It's some very rewarding, very challenging platforming. You got the Encore Rifts that you have to beat to get the Dark Blade. Those are all like really fun. This game is just a blast. It looks phenomenal. Like I said, the art style is so dope. The soundtrack is fire. Anytime I play a game and I'm going back, immediately going on YouTube and trying to find those tracks, you already know it's some bangers. This game was on nominated for best action game of the year. Very warranted. Yeah, this is, if you have not played this one and you love like side scroller action, kind of Metro, like I said, it's not full on Metroidvania, but it does have those elements because you have to go back and certain areas you can't access because you don't have certain items. It does have that. Some of the best, the combat is it's such a flow state. It's just like Ninja Gaiden. Once you start understanding the combat system and getting like your abilities and stuff, the combat is so fun. It's so fluid. It makes you feel so powerful. This, if you have not played this one, please play it. This game is a gem from 2025.
I do think it's crazy that we managed to get both a Shinobi and a Ninja Gaiden in this kind of style,
Yeah,
and that they were both well received at that. Like that, man. We live in such a gifted era, and we take it for granted all the time, man. It's crazy.
That's true.
I'm gonna cherish these games.
Man. So this is my number 3, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. This was my multiplayer game. Like I talked to before the chat about how Arc Raiders is technically my multiplayer game because I played a lot of Arc Raiders. I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders most recently, but like this was last year my multiplayer game. I had been looking for a opportunity to get back into Shadowverse because it was just I had been out of the game for so long. I started it in 2016 when the first one came out, and then I was just away from it for a while after like 2020. And then by the time I tried to come back, so much had changed that I couldn't keep up. And so with the release of this new game, I was so excited. As soon as they announced it, I was like, bet, I'm ready to get back in. And it gives me that fix that I used to get playing card games when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, but without the stress of having to figure out how to lawyer all the rules or read card text that's basically a fucking essay. Like, it gives me that same vibe. And it's like, it's just nice that they have matches that are like quick and bite-sized. And in the middle of work, I can find myself just sneaking away to get a quick match or two in, finish my dailies, and the dailies aren't that hard. It's like, hey, you log into the little Shadowverse lobby and you face somebody and you watch a match, and you're always feeding into getting more items, getting more resources so that you can build better versions of the decks that you have. It's also just fun being part of a meta again, where you get to complain alongside everybody else because it's exhausting taking a million turns playing against Cresthaven, or being the one that everybody is whining about because you play mid-range sword, which is what I used to play. I haven't really gotten into the last two sets because they've been, to me, making them a little too quickly. I think every 6 months, 6 to 8 weeks, my bad. Every 6 to 8 weeks, they're always introducing something new, and I'm like, all right, man, that's a little too fast. I would prefer 2.5 months, 3 months, something like that. But I do love what I've gotten so far, and I'm gonna try to get back into it over the next few weeks. Take advantage of this current set before they switch over to the next set. So yeah, I think I've probably played more of Shadowverse than I played of any other video game that last year. One video game by itself. I played probably Trails the most because I played Trails Daybreak and First Chapter, but Shadowverse is the singular game that I spent the most time, and I think I played like 90 hours of it. So yeah, great game.
Yeah, that it took over my whole summer. I played June and July. I played like every day.
Yeah, Keen, what deck did you wind up picking that you stuck with the most? Did you feel like?
Puppets. I just like puppets. Like puppets, man. I just like that archetype. So I played that a good bit. So I was playing Portal.
I went to Rune and Sword I'm kind of basic in that way. Rune and Sword were my favorites. I did want to play Shadowcraft, or what is it now? Because I think they changed it because they merged the two of them. Abysscraft, right? Because they merged Shadow and Blood. I wanted to get into Abysscraft, but Abysscraft is really fucking expensive, and so I never got a chance. I built part of it, and I may get back into it when I check to see, like, okay, what's the meta, what's good, what's bad. I may go back to Abysscraft if it's good, just to experience something a little different for a little while.
Yeah, I might play a little bit this week too. I've been kind of getting the itch to play again.
Yeah, I've been wanting like some kind of card game, man. Speaking of, Rakeem, your number two. Your number two is Quartet.
Oh yeah, back on my indie RPG game. Yeah, so Quartet is a RPG made by Something Classic, who specializes in very like nostalgic JRPG of yesteryear, harkening back to the SNES kind of days, Game Boy Advance kind of days. And why I like this game, I remember playing it, and it was like I was so immersed into it because it felt like comfort food, but it also respected my time in a way where it didn't take a whole lot of time to play it. And also it had enough depth in its mechanics where it wasn't just, too basic, where, some RPGs are fun to play, but they're kind of basic now compared to the depth we've gotten in later RPGs. This has depth in simplicity. The characters in this game all have different sets of abilities that work together, but they don't just tell you how they work. You got to figure it out on your own how they work. And once you figure out how the combinations work, it can be quite fun. Like I told you an example of, I figured out I have a character who can attack twice by a combination of other characters' abilities, equipment. I can make that character attack 16 times. So stuff like that. Like you can make some really cool combos and buffs and debuffs on enemies. And also like the narrative was good. The characters were unique. And then a lot of them had very modern issues. One of the characters is a mage, but he got his powers while he's working in a restaurant. He works a 9 to 5. He doesn't live in a magical kingdom. It's just random as hell to him. This doesn't help him at all. So like he's like going around town trying to help people with his magic. He keeps fucking it up every single time, like messing up, frying people's animals or messing things up. There's a girl who's dealing with her mother who has she's been unconscious for all this time. She has to help run her grocery store. And she's trying to figure out how to navigate that while her brother is on the streets making dirty money, trying to fix the same problem and have to deal with that kind of issue. So like the story is good. The story actually goes some places I didn't expect. The characters are the strongest suit of this. And overall, the game itself, just as a total package, is well worth the price, well worth the effort to play. And I recommend it to anybody who gives it a chance.
I do like the demo.
I'm noticing here that it has a very strong visual identity. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like it's got a strong vibe to it in terms of like feels like an SNES game, but it has like that. Obviously, you couldn't have built this on an SNES, so
no.
I'm digging this. And I like the idea of a combat system that you can absolutely shatter if you know what you're doing. Because I mean, like to go from like attacking twice to being like, no, I'm gonna attack 16 times is crazy. So
Yeah, that is crazy.
I believe next up we've got Devin with Hollow Knight Silksong, which is wild because you're not the person I would have thought would have had this on their list. But go ahead, Devin.
Man, Metroidvanias is.
Let me put it this way: there was someone else that I thought would have also had it on.
It should have been me, but I just didn't get around to it. Just be honest. We're gonna keep it 100 over here. I should have got around to it, but it's so much out. I can't get it. I can't get to everything.
It's a lot of shit
whenever you play it, Will, it's gonna be good, man. It's but absolute cinema. This Hollow Knight has done the job single-handedly of revitalizing my absolute love for Metroidvanias, which is probably my second favorite genre of games. Like RPGs being like the first JRPGs. But this game is so good, man. I get it. I know there's like a certain portion of like the community that love this game that are kind of vocal. Sometimes it's a little like a little annoying, a little like over the top, but I get it. It's warranted. This game is absolutely phenomenal. I loved Hollow Knight so good. It's weird because I actually played Hollow Knight like years ago, like the first one. Got into it for about an hour and put it down. And then I got back into it I think year before last or last year, one of them. And I was like, I feel so bad. Why did I not play this? Why did I not keep playing this game? It's so good. Like I said, if you're a Metroidvania fan, like this is just like the cream of the crop right now, in my opinion. Because like my OG cream of the crops was like Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Fusion, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a GOTY game, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Aria of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, Order of Ecclesia. Like those are like some of the GOATs. Yeah. This game like encompasses all of that, like the visuals, and I've said it on this podcast before, and I'll say it again. I know everybody's we're in the year 2026, and they love to see the sweat pores and the follicles, the hair coming out of they love to see all that. But man, I'm telling you, like I've always said this, and I will say this to the day I die. Art style and direction reign supreme. I don't care about all the fancy graphical fidelity and your RTXs and your mirror reflections and your water reflections. When you put
ray tracing,
I don't care about none of that. This hand-drawn art style is so well done. The simpleness of it's still simple, like in the designs, but it's like it's masterfully simple. Because like if you look at these backgrounds, the characters, like it's so much of a joy to play while you're playing this game, experiencing like it's almost like Terrence said when he's playing Sword of the Sea. You look at this game like the environments, like how the background is like faded with like the atmospheric I forgot the term for it. But like when you see things in the background that you can't see clearly, the characters, like all these insects, how they make everybody like they still have personality, even though there's no voices like spoken voices. You still have dialogue. You can hear them say things, but it's not in like an actual language. Funny little bits like that where she slaps an NPC because they tried to like kiss her or whatever. She also slaps a little flea because he's trying to get a peek on her because he opens up this spot. He's like, "Hey, you can heal in here." And then I did it by accident. I hit the thing, and I hear somebody say, "Ouch!" And I go outside. He's like rubbing his face, and she's like, "Well, you trying to spy on me?" I'm like, "Hey man, that's a bug. You don't want to mess with her, bro. Hornet, she don't play no games." So, this game is so good, man. It's hard. I get it's hard. Harder. Hollow Knight was hard, but this one is harder because like a lot of the damage early on is a lot more amplified. Like some enemies just do 2 points of damage just early, and like that was like a thing like midway through Hollow Knight, the original game. The bosses are fantastic. The sound design is absolutely goated. The music is phenomenal. Another game where like the music is just like, bro, this is just. I'm so glad that Team Cherry, like they're a smaller team, but these people, they have like kind of perfected this formula. And man, I cannot just wait to see what they got coming up next. They got the DLC coming, which is also free. These people, they got me. That's all I say. I'm not gonna say I'm a craze fan, but I got to give respect to this series because this, like, to me, this is a GOAT now. This is up there with Metroid and the Castlevania to me. It's absolutely fantastic.
I'm glad that somebody in here, and this is actually not a shot. I just mean like I'm glad that one of us played this because I do feel like this was such an important game of 2025, and it feels like we would have been missing something if we didn't have this. And there are a couple other games that also I'm glad that Will played and me and Devin played. Where I'm like, man, we definitely needed to have these on the list because it's representative of the year of 2025. We'd be missing something if we didn't have them. So.
Right.
And speaking of, there's another game actually that Terrence has that's also representative of 2025 that I'm like, man, I'm glad somebody had this. Terrence, your number 2 is Donkey Kong Bonanza.
This should have been a launch title, like without question. Like this alongside Mario Kart World should have been launch titles. And I mean, I get it. It is a launch window title because it came out a month after the Switch's launch, but there would have been no discussion about the Switch's launch title, whether it was like good or not, if this had been a launch title alongside Mario Kart. Like this as the big single player game and Mario Kart as the multiplayer game, that would have been all that you needed. Because this game is fantastic. This game is honestly what you get when you combine Donkey Kong 64, Mario Odyssey, Banjo-Kazooie, and Hulk Ultimate Destruction. I know that sounds like a lot, but there are bits and pieces from each of those games that makes this work so well. This, in my opinion, is Nintendo's best attempt at making a Rare game, like Rare, the company Rare, without Rare actually contributing to it. Like this feels like a Rare game that would have been made like during the 64 era, like your Donkey Kong Country, like your Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, etc. From the little eyes that the characters have, kind of like you see the ice there, to the animal, not animal language that they speak, the weird gibberish, like all the Rare, like the like stuff like that. It's all the Rare isms are there. Not to mention, like you get this not open world, but there's still levels, but each of the levels are open to where you can explore, much like your Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong Country, well, Donkey Kong 64, excuse me. Yeah, like so much of what makes this game fun is how they were able to just put so much into it. I mentioned Hulk Ultimate Destruction earlier because not only do you have like the Mario Odyssey style like platforming and exploration, but you can actually destroy the landscape. The level design is so good that you can actually destroy the levels and it still gets you to where you need to be. Like in terms of you can find different secrets underground. You can spend a lot of your time early on just like punching the shit out of everything, just seeing where you go. And then obviously there's some boundaries to some things. Like there's some times where I've like punched outside of a mountain and I'm like at the edge and I'm like, oh, I need to get back because I'm about to go off a cliff or something. But there's just so much freedom that you have throughout these games levels. And there's so many different levels. I haven't beaten the game yet. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, about 20 hours in. There's like a resort level, there's jungle, there's lava, snow, there's a lot going on with this game. And of course you have the story with DK and Pauline. I know some people earlier on were kind of like, this doesn't make sense lore wise. It's Nintendo, just go along with it. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But there's a nice heartfelt relationship going on between DK and Pauline that is pretty endearing. Like I said, I haven't gotten to the end of it yet, so I don't see how exactly everything wraps up, but so far I am so enjoying this game. Like if you loved Mario Odyssey, you love Banjo-Kazooie, you love like your typical Nintendo platformers, if you love destroying things, if you love collecting things, like this game just has all. Like to date, this is the best Nintendo exclusive on the Switch 2 so far. Like outside of Mario Kart, Kirby, Metroid, like this is the one that clears all those so far. If Nintendo can bring out something else of this quality this year, then they'll be cooking. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, excellent game. If you have a Switch 2, there's no reason to not pick this up unless you just don't like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, like I knew when they had the trailer that it was going to be a good game. I was shocked that, well, less shocked once I thought about it. I was like, okay, well, it's Mario Odyssey team and they know how to cook. But I was shocked at just how much love this game got to see like, oh, like everybody was just like, this game is fantastic. Like the fact that they were able to incorporate the destruction to such a degree, it's almost like a fuck you to people that are like, hey, is the Switch powerful enough? It's like, well, you tell me, play this game, and then you tell me, is it powerful enough to get what we need to get done? And apparently the answer was yes. So there you go.
Yeah, there are some instances where there's a few technical hiccups, but they're few and far between. Like for the most part, the game runs flawlessly.
Perfect. Speaking of games that needed to be a part of our conversation since they were part of 2025 so much, the number 2 for Will, Dispatch.
Yeah, man, Dispatch. Okay, so if you can't tell by looking at this trailer, or at least if you've seen some of it, very close to some Telltale games, if you know what those are. By all means, done by Ad Hoc Studios. I picked up Dispatch because a friend of mine was just yelling at me to get it. He was like, hey, bro, go ahead and get it. And I think at one point he messed around and was like, hey, bro, look, I need you to go play it. And he messed around and sent me the money. I was like, hey, go buy it. I'm like, all right,
bro.
Wow.
I need you to play this game so badly. I'm going to pay you to play it.
he's like, go get it. I'm like, all right, bet, sure. I'm going to go ahead and get it. I got it. And after sitting with it, I see why. I see why. Superhero comedy, you're basically taking control of basically what is quote unquote a fallen hero, and he's going to be running a dispatch network. He's going to be running a dispatch network for former villains who are in this program called the Phoenix program, and he's helping kind of like guide them to things that are happening around this area of California, helping them like clear up fires, get cats out of trees, get information, stop heists, do basically help these people do hero shit, basically help them gain some favor with the people. But yeah, from a narrative standpoint, I love these characters. Like all of these characters are well done, well executed, and the voice cast impeccable. Like from Aaron Paul, and I think they even had Moist Critical on the crew. They've had so many people that I didn't even know about the rest of the crew. I knew Aaron Paul was here, but I didn't know like the rest of the people that I seen. I was like, oh my god, y'all are in a lot of my stuff that I played, or y'all are like people I've seen across the internet. And y'all are doing this. Like, I can't even be mad at it. It's well animated. It's everything you could ask for in a Telltale game. Like if you've been missing Telltale games for a while and like you wanted something really good to play and you want something different, like not necessarily a horror story or a mystery story, this right here does it. And the hacking mini game that you see right here, I love just that little part of it. That little tiny part like really put me in. And it also has like slight RPG elements too, because as you send those like heroes out on missions, they gain experience points and you can fix their stats up to make them better in certain areas. So that way they can handle missions better. So you won't be sending somebody who's like, oh, they dumb as a rock. So why did you send them to this mission that needed them to talk in front of people? Or they don't have the strength to go do this fighting. So you can level them up, this and the third, You can even teach them other abilities like being able to fly. Certain characters can fly and get to missions faster. Or they can do certain things that will help them like get power-ups and points after missions. Make them stronger or make them do something different. Make them form to what is happening. So shout out to Ad Hoc Studios for making this game. Like it came out on like almost like a weekly or every other week basis too. It's 8
every week.
Long. It's 8 episodes long. It's well worth the time. There's like I think 3 to 4 different endings. There's a romance subplot somewhere in there if you want to go that route. You can keep it friendly if you want to. You have a choice in the matter. I think this is a great decision-based story game. I think it is, bro.
I think this is probably the first time we see the episodic model work out just as perfectly as it could have, and likely because I think it might have been bi-weekly, but however it was, like the fact that they were so close together instead of being months apart, and so that allowed you to treat it like a television series where it's like, oh man, I got to get back and see what the next episode is going to be like, and the fact that it was like bite-sized chunks, so it didn't ask a lot of your time. Like I
really didn't.
I really meant to play it at the time because people were like, "Oh man, yeah, it's only like 2 hours. Like each release is only like 2 hours. Like the whole thing, I think might be like 10 hours if you push it, probably closer to 8. So like, I need to get back to check this game out. And it's great to have Ad Hoc Studio, like a brand new studio, come out and perform so well because it's got tons of attention. People had it in Game of the Year talks. It didn't. I don't think it wasn't nominated for proper Game of the Year, but like a lot of people talked about it as like a Game of the Year level game. And I there's no better place for this to have been. There's no better way this could have gone for ad hoc studios, especially also pricing it at I think what 40 for the whole game.
I think it was about
I think
40,
it's
maybe
30, isn't it? Like, can't you pick up the full thing for 30? I think if you get
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a deluxe, you can pay 40. I think.
Yeah, deluxe gives you 40 and gives you like comics. I think like comics and an art book to kind of expand a little taste on some stuff. So yeah.
So 30 even better. Like that just lets you know like what type of game this is. Like in this era where AAA studios are trying to charge more and more for their projects, where it's like $70, no $80. Like, oh, could we get to the first $100 game? And like ad hoc brings out this game of this quality, and it's like, yeah, man, we just need $30 from you. It's like,
Yeah, man.
good on y'all.
It's well worth it, bro. I add this little clip. If you like a bunch of dysfunctional quote unquote heroes, you'll definitely love this.
I'm gonna actually have to make some time for this. Sometime in the next 3 months, in the middle of Trails, when I finally get Trails, and before Crimson Desert comes out, because I am gonna try to give Crimson Desert a chance. So
yeah, this is definitely one that I have on my list. I want to play it.
Yeah, we all getting in there.
Please do.
My number 2, I've talked about this game before. It's Keep Driving. I really did love this game. I keep talking about it, and I think that says something in itself because I only played it for a few hours. Like I played it the night before I went back home on July the 4th, and I slept. I think I like struggled to sleep, or I like woke up early. I woke up way too early. That's what it was, and I didn't know what else to do. And I was like, I need to do something, and I just loaded up Keep Driving. And it's not a long game. I beat it in that one sitting before I went home. But it doesn't take long for a game like this to capture your heart. If you've never played it, Keep Driving is a driving RPG that takes place in the early 2000s, where you're a teenager that's decided to travel across the country to see a music festival. Along the way, you got to manage your resources. You've got to deal with traffic. You have certain encounters. They even have like a little battle system that's simplistic but very clever, and like it makes you think like, okay, how can I manage the different resources I have to avoid? Because like, how do I deal with cops? How do I deal with traffic, frustration on the road, all those things that they all turn into little battle encounters, and you have to find a way to manage your resources to not use them all up before you get to the next rest point where you can replenish everything. And you also get to choose whether or not you want to pick up hitchhikers, and all while you listen to this fun indie rock soundtrack. I fell in love with this game because it truly captures the spirit of being out on the open road, from annoying car problems to the unmatched feeling of lonely freedom on the highways. Like I can't say enough positive about this game, from the soundtrack to the gameplay. Even the graphics, they have their own little charm, and y'all know I'm not no pixel art type of dude, but I still just kind of fell for it. So fantastic video game. I hope YCYJ Games keeps coming out with stuff like this. And frankly, I hope this inspires other people to come out with other like driving games like this. I think Pacific Drive, was it Pacific Drive? The open world, like
the one that was on PS5.
It's like a horror type game.
Yeah.
I think it was on Steam too, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was on everything.
It was on multi-plat.
That was another game along those lines, and I think you got a lot of potential for games where it's just like you in the car and you doing stuff, and it relates to that. It's a lot of potential. I hope people keep tapping into this stuff. So there you go. That's my number. That was my number 2. All right. Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've gotten to it, huh? Everybody's number 1 video games. Look, Rakeem, you are up first with your number 1 video game of 2025. It is Ghost of Yotei. I should have loaded up a longer trailer than this. Give me a second. I'll find another trailer while you talk.
All right. So Ghost of Yotei was I just recently finished this. I've been playing it pretty much the last few weeks every day. Anybody who knows me or who actually lives with me, like gentlemen here, they know I've been playing a lot of this. I have to say, as a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima, what I was looking forward to with this game was seeing how they followed up Tsushima's great combination of storytelling, combat, and atmosphere. And how they did it was great storytelling, combat, and atmosphere. It was more of a instead of a huge big change. It really did more of the same, but there are nuances to it. So in Tsushima, you had the narrative story of a samurai who had to change from his way of life to adapt to the ongoing threat of the Mongol invasion. In this game, you're dealing with a character who is on a revenge tale. Very different type of circumstance. You went from an honorable samurai to someone who is like, from their childhood on up, have devoted their life to killing these group of people. This is ironically a very similar story to Assassin's Creed Shadow. It's almost verbatim. Like, it's kind of crazy. But whereas I actually played both games this year, and I like how Yotei did it a little bit better. I think it's a little smoother in its transition, a little easier to kind of traverse the world. So the main character, Atsu, she's going on this revenge story. But what's compelling about this game to me is that as you go to each region, when she's going through these individual enemies that to avenge her family, the regions have a life of their own that kind of take on the life of the villain she's fighting. For instance, there's an enemy called the Oni, and all his goons do fire damage, and they wear a demon mask, and the region is like red leaves, and the sun overhead has a more somber tone to it. It's like crimson and fire everywhere. You get fire related items. There's a snow region where you have to fight snow ninjas who are hiding everywhere. So the whole game feels different because now you got to look in the trees and bushes and stuff for ambushes, and you have to learn techniques from different masters in this game as well. So what they did in this game was like they were very smart in how they made each region feel distinctive. Gameplay feels very different and fresh because you have these different weapons. Whereas, the main character in the last game, he pretty much just used a sword with different stances because he's a samurai. But since Atsu is a mercenary, she's more free-form, more freelance, and the masters teach her different weapon styles to combat each environment. That's a lot of environmental storytelling. They took a lot of lessons probably from Red Dead Redemption. You kind of see like Stranger-esque kind of characters come up in the environment. You have side quests that just pop up, or you'll be directed to them, and with the wind changes that Ghost is known for. But also you'll have little instances where you might just have like a character interaction who they said like, this is dude killing you if you play an instrument. So I played an instrument and he tried to kill me.
Wow.
Okay.
They say, hey man, there's a bear around here. And you find a dude who's like got a bear with him hunting. And the bear actually isn't dangerous. He just but because he did something and the bear killed someone. So there's like little stories all around the map, and I think they convey the world so well. I don't know if the main narrative is quite as good as Tsushima, but I like everything else better. Like the combat, I like a little more. The world environments are more varied and more interesting. I think it took a lot of lessons in level design as well. It's just a fun game. If you like Tsushima, I don't see any reason you wouldn't like this. This is definitely on par with that and more expanded in some ways. And it varies it up enough with each region where you have to deal with different threats, puzzles, different types of combat and enemies that it stays interesting throughout the whole time. I enjoy this game from start to finish.
Excellent. This is another game that people were looking forward to. I do think Sony is kind of hitting the upper limit of what they can do with these types of video games, but still, it's at least as far as like making them and still getting the same reaction from the fans. But I do think Ghost of Yotei is an achievement in that respect, that people are still just kind of like, no, this game was great. It may have gotten overshadowed by a few other titles, but that doesn't stop it from being a fantastic video game. So,
absolutely. And this is the type of game where just don't listen to all the noise all the time. Just play the game and it's fine.
Oh man, that noise did not last long, did it? Once it came out, people were like, "Oh, no, this game is the truth." Like, we knew
there's nothing wrong with this game.
Yeah, it was never gonna be anything wrong with this game. I'm sorry. And so now that takes us to Terrence. Terrence's number one game is Hades 2.
Yes, this is my personal game of the year. I put over 100 hours into it. I beat the main story, beat every boss on the hardest difficulty, and did about 90% of the epilogue, other than like some bonds and some weapons I hadn't maxed out yet. But other than that, I mean, it's done. In a time where everyone is complaining about games, being too expensive while also not being finished, like, oh, this game needed more time in the oven. It's like, oh, they want to patch it once it comes out. This game is 1,000% finished, and it's only $30. Like, this is a full game. This is a game. Like, if you loved Hades 1, there is absolutely no reason to not pick up this game. Like, there's so much going on. Like, it's hard to even like scratch the surface in terms of like just how much is in this game. Not only just that you have the main story, there's so much dialogue in the game. Like, I don't think I've heard a single line of dialogue twice. They recorded so much dialogue for this game that it's insane. Like that just shows you like how many outcomes that they like. What kind of like branch do they have where they just had so many outcomes where if you did this, you get this, and you did that, you get this, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like they had to have each person had to have recorded like thousands of lines of dialogue just to make it where no experience is the same. The gameplay, it's one of those games where, because it's a roguelike, obviously when you start out, it feels like, man, this game is so difficult. Like, how in the world am I supposed to get through all this? But the more you play it, the better you get at it. And it gets to a point where you just zoom through dungeons that were so hard in the beginning are like nothing once you get to a certain point. And it gets to a point where you're like going through the whole thing in like a matter of like minutes, as opposed to like taking so long to get through it, or like barely scraping by each and every night. There's so many weapons to unlock. There's bonds that you have with characters. There's romantic options that you can do. There's two different pathways with the story. Like, they converge at a certain point, but you don't just have one pathway. Like, to my understanding, with Hades 1, you only had one pathway. But yeah, this Supergiant, they don't miss. I mean, none of the games that they put out have been like stinkers at all. Like, from the beginning with Bastion, pretty sure Bastion was their first game, right, Rakeem?
Mm-hmm, correct.
Yeah, from the beginning with Bastion to this, like they just do not miss. They're them and Team Cherry, they're like the pinnacle of indie devs right now in terms of putting out a body of work that is just at the top of its class, and everybody else is pretty much struggling to keep up. Yeah, like, this game is phenomenal. If you like roguelikes, definitely check it out. Even if you don't like roguelikes, like, I actually had not played any roguelike game up until this, and this makes me want to play more of the genre. So that should tell you a lot right there. So yeah, if you have any interest in this whatsoever, like, I highly implore you, check out Hades 2. It's a phenomenal game. Like, this is going to be on my list of favorite games of all time, like, without question.
It's on my list to get, man. I gotta get it sooner or later.
I have actually been playing this game, and it has been kicking my ass, just like you said in the beginning. I'm still early. I haven't put as much time into it as I did Hades 1, because I love Hades 1. Well, that was good. So I'm still going through it, but I have been following this game as soon as they enter early access, because Supergiant's one of those studios, like you said, they don't miss. And when they have something, it's usually really special and really interesting and unique. So I always pay attention to it. I just hope that next time the build I make isn't trash, so I can get through to Chronos.
Hey man, look, I had a lot of trash builds. Like even now, like, I'm not, when I play this game, I'm not the type of person who is thinking about like, oh, if I do this and if I do that, like, I'll get like the top tier build or anything like that. A lot of times, like, I'm just kind of doing what works for me. So like, it's funny, like, watching videos where they have like tier list of like the best weapons and the best skills and whatnot. And there obviously are some that are better than others, but there'll be like some weapons and some skills that they mention where it's like, I don't know, that's not really one that I personally like. So it's also one of those things where it depends on your play style as to what you'll gravitate towards versus what's necessarily like more efficient per se. You know, obviously, if you're playing this game at like a top level, then you care about efficiency. But if you're playing it more so for fun, it's just going to come down to what you like to play.
Yeah. Great
choice. Another game that everybody was talking about. I'm glad someone in our group managed to get through it. And I'm actually, I knew Rakeem was eventually going to get to it because I know he was a big Supergiant fan. I think he was the one that was the most excited for Hades 2 going into it. So I kind of figured that he was going to get to it at some point.
Oh, I've been playing it. I just suck at it.
It's like Terrence said, you'll get better, you know.
You'll get there, bro.
If a scrub like me can beat all the bosses at max difficulty, I imagine anybody can do it.
Oh, you don't know how he playthroughs. I got you. Modesty.
So the number one game for Will is one of my favorite video games of all time that I need to go back and play this remake. There was a lot of ports that came out last year that I need to go back and play. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles.
Okay.
What a throwback.
So, yeah, it is. And mind you, I've been wanting to get my hands on a copy of the original for like the longest. But when I seen this was happening, I was like, you know what? I could save that $50 or so that they want on eBay, and I can just get this. Went on and picked this up, and as y'all know, with this being like a full-on like remaster, they have both versions of the game on there. You can play the classic 1997-98 version, or you can play the updated version of it that has voice acting and a few changes here and there and different UI and everything. You can play that. Now, mind you, this is my first time playing it. I played it up, and I cannot even lie to you. After playing it and going through the story, getting down and understanding how to do everything, understanding the mechanics of the game. For all y'all who are rave reviewers and y'all got this as the most best Final Fantasy in y'all list, I get it. I get it now. I get it. Everything about this game that I could say, I don't even have to say it because it's already been said. I like the battle system. I enjoyed just figuring things out. I enjoyed like doing things that were like a little bit different. I would imagine that every playthrough for everyone is like flat out different in comparison to what mine could have been, because I was big on using the orator class in that, and I was stealing party members from the enemies left and right through like the latter half of the game. I'm like, yeah, you gonna come join me. I have food and money over here. By all means, talk to me. I was taking people left and right to finish the game, but it's everything and more you could ask for in a tactical RPG. Crazy good storytelling, solid characters, and with the voice acting, that added a new level of depth, I would say, because I know the game had no voice acting back then. I think the cast that they made for this game will give you a big reason to really want to sit down with it, because these characters are well acted by the cast that they put in front of them. So, shout outs to that voice cast, shout outs to the team. Everything about it, like, and I don't know what more I can say about this game that hasn't been said already, bro. It's a timeless classic. What more could you ask for in a Final Fantasy game? The political intrigue is crazy. The storytelling is on point. It went to a point where I didn't even expect it to get into that real deal supernatural shit when it just snuck up on me. I was like, oh, so there is some supernatural shit here. Somebody is transforming into some eldritch abomination I wasn't ready to see. And also, fuck you, WeGraph. Run my fade every time I see you.
Yeah, WeGraph is a hard skill check for everybody out there.
Yeah, shout outs to me learning that the best way to beat him is because of a coding error, but we ain't gonna talk about that. So yeah, I'll tell you about it if you don't already know. But yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles, amazing game. If you've never played it, if you've been just like flat out avoiding it all this time, pick up The Ivalice Chronicles. It's well worth it. You can play either version that you want to play, whether you want to be modern or play the old school version. Pick it up. Great tactical RPG addition to your library.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to play the Ivalice Chronicles, but I played Final Fantasy Tactics back in 9th grade. Fantastic fucking video game. As you can see, the battle system is unmatched in tactical games. Like the fact that it incorporates like height and like how that can change the battle. Like when you have like the height advantage on somebody, like the terrain advantage, the amount of different classes that you have, the art style, which is unmistakable. Like you see Final Fantasy Tactics art style and you can't mistake it for anything else. It looks like nothing else looks like this in Final Fantasy or outside of it, except maybe, I guess, Tactics Ogre, but even that, kind of a stretch. Like I feel like Tactics Ogre still has its own vibe to it. The story is great. Like I won't say Shakespearean, but it is definitely like a tragedy epic. Like nothing goes right. Like Will said, there's so much political intrigue, and it's just like, oh, maybe we can. Nah, you can't fix shit. Everything gonna go bad. You just along for the ride.
So, you want to do this? Not with him sitting up there in the chair. No, he got a book right there. What you gonna do about that?
You can also see its influence on other RPGs, like of course, Triangle Strategy is a big one. But even games like Baldur's Gate, I feel like the influence from Tactics is there in some respects, like the combat system and the classes. Like it feels like there was some influence there. Like I feel like Tactics had a big influence on strategy role-playing games in the late 90s and 2000s, of course. But even that, some of that's felt today. Similar to how like XCOM affected the strategy RPGs for like the XCOM style strategy RPGs.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now we come to our final 2 games of the year. Let's go first with me. My game of the year. My game of the year really shouldn't surprise anyone. It is Trails in the Sky, first chapter. Oh man, I adore this game. It was everything I needed it to be for an introduction to the beginning of the Trail storyline. Yeah. If you've never played it, if you don't know what happens in Trail, you start out as Estelle and Joshua, 2 teenagers that are ready to follow in the footsteps of Estelle's dad, Cassius, and become a bracer and part of an international peacekeeping force. To become a senior bracer, the both of you have to travel across this tiny country of Liberl, aiming to build up your prestige across the nation, only to get caught up in like this wild mystery. And first chapter really does have it all. Like Falcom went out of their way to make first chapter look gorgeous. Like Trails games, since they've gotten to, I'd say, the PS4 era, so Cold Steel 3, Trails games have looked pretty, but they've never looked quite as gorgeous as this, with a cel-shaded art style that I wouldn't be mad if they just started doing going forward. Just do this.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun. Like I know they've been on the record of saying we want to use the cel-shaded for the remakes that we do. And then the other style, like the style you see in Trails Beyond the Horizon, that's going to be their style for like the modern games. You ain't got to do that. It's okay. You could just make it look like this and people will be happy. The battle system is top notch, thanks to like some significant tweaks that have come from years of working on Trails. And it's kind of like Trails Through Daybreak, but not quite. It's still very much retains like a lot of, it has the action combat of Trails Through Daybreak, but it has the turn-based combat with some quality of life, upgrades from the OG game, and that works out to its benefit. Falcom has built Trails' name off having this interconnected, lived-in world where you really get to know all the major movers and shakers. And first chapter, even all the way back then, it epitomizes just that. It makes you, as you play it, you feel like you're friends and acquaintances with everybody remotely important in Liberl. Like, I'm talking about the Bracers, I'm talking about the Royal Army, I'm talking about the mayors of each individual town in Liberl, like all the big cities in Liberl. You get to know everybody, and you get to feel like, okay, I understand these characters, who they are, their motivations, and stuff like that. You combine that with some great music. Trails games have always had fantastic music, and a lovable cast, and you've got a great JRPG and my game of the year far and away. Like, I can't, I'm so stoked that this game was as good as it was, and can't wait for the sequel next year or this year. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Trails. Second chapter. That got the review. Second chapter.
Boy, I'm hoping second chapter blow up. I'm hoping because like I know Trails Beyond the Horizon got reviewed earlier this year, and it's gotten a little attention, but like that's you can only play Trails Beyond the Horizon if you've played every other Trails game, as opposed to this where it's like, hey man, just pick it up, hop in. Everything is explained to you as you go along. So yeah. I'm hoping that second chapter is able to build off of that, and we eventually get that Yakuza 0 to Yakuza Like a Dragon moment that Yakuza had, like where it's like, okay, it finally had its coming out moment, and then it finally had its I'm here, I'm in your face, you can't deny me moment. So I'm looking forward to Trails getting that breakthrough.
I do want to play this. Like, I don't know when, but because I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that I have that I need to get through first. But I really do want to play this game. Like, yeah, you all have talked about this franchise for so long. I've wanted to dip my toes into it, and this is the place to start. So I'll have to get to it eventually.
Honestly, man, it'd be the way to go.
I am obviously the Trails evangelist here. Not that I'm the only Trails fan, but I'm the one that won't shut the fuck up about it. But having said that, I will say that Trails in the Sky is, unlike the other ones, the tightest Trails game in years. Like it's a short. If you know what you're doing, it might be 50 hours if you don't use a guide. If you use a guide, it's probably gonna hit you like 40 hours. Like you can just get in and out. You're like doing, and I mean 40 hours doing all the side quests, all the side content, getting all the treasure chests, everything. 42 hours, I think, is what I beat it in. So like as JRPGs go, it's a nice, tight, focused experience. So if you do decide to pick it, like just know you won't be in there like playing that bitch for, oh man, I can't believe I'm still here 6 months late. Won't be none of that.
I'll say the best way to put it, and even though this is a hit at one of my favorite series, it won't be like a Persona 5. I'll tell you that now. It won't be like that.
I mean,
I
not
love
just Persona.
but still.
Later Trails games are long as fuck. Rakeem can attest to this. Like they tend
I'm
to
pretty
be
sure you can do that. So yeah,
70, 80 hours. Like they can be long. This one right here,
100 easily. In some
100 sometimes. This one right here, and really all the way up to like 0. 0 is the last game where you can beat in like 45 hours. So like the first 4 games in the Trails franchise, you could probably beat in like 40 plus hours. And then like Azure, I believe it took me like 58, something like that. That's when you start to get into the longer, like, hey man, you're not finna just come in here and get in and out.
This is an epic, sir. You gonna sit down for this one.
Yeah, you finna take some time for this. But like they're like the later Trails, they get kind of bloated. This one, I appreciate them for keeping it nice and tight. And I believe second chapter is short as well, right, Keem? Short ish.
Yeah,
short. Just like
it's about the same. Okay. Maybe a little bit longer. Yeah.
Okay. But I'm speaking for somebody who played the older one. I didn't play this remake, so
I mean, there's a remake. They add, I think, maybe 1 or 2 missions, like side missions. They're not long. They do add, for continuity's sake, they do that kind of stuff. But like for the most part, it's basically the same game with new graphics. So there you go.
Okay. I played a little bit of this. I did like what I played though. I do like the battle system, and Josh is cool. Josh was a cool character.
Josh is one of them ones. I ain't gonna lie to you.
This man's hatred for
Josh is cool.
Wild.
That's wild, man.
That's one of the most beloved JRPG protagonists. Devin was like, "Get her out of here."
He got hood to front.
Well, damn, bro, you got against that Stam.
He only played demo. He didn't get the whole game, man.
He don't know.
That is true.
He got to know. It's still one of the
first impression, man. You double kick, you drop kick somebody in the face that you just say, "Hey, you should be still. You're gonna hurt yourself," and then you drop kick me in my face, man.
That is a thing that happened. All right, Devin's number 1 and my number 5 is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which I did save for last because it is the one that everybody loves the most. The one that ran away with 2025. The story of 2025 is definitely this game. Devin, go ahead.
I actually didn't even really put these in order. Like when I put these up, I actually did not type them in like an order which I had them. I guess it could look like, but I mean, it's probably what it would have been. Cause like for me, Silksong was like super close on this game's heels for me. It's just like 2023. I played Sea of Stars. That was by and large actually, Hi-Fi Rush was my game of the year, but that was January. And then Sea of Stars came out. That was my game of the year. Then they said lots of people was like, "Hold my sword." I was like, so every year, like throughout the year, each game just kept trumping the other one. And Lies of P was my game of the year. So same thing with this game. And because RPGs are my favorite genre of games, and this game reminded me of so many games I played in my younger years. Legend of Dragoon. There's like story elements of stuff from like the Picto system is very similar to Final Fantasy IX, how the items work, where you learn the abilities. Just so much of this game was a labor of love, I feel, from people that actually like played RPGs and like played the old school ones. Shadow Hearts, Inspiration. This game was fire. I played it a little later in the year, so I finished it like right before the year ended. But man, I loved every bit of this game. I think I put like, I believe like maybe 70, 80 hours in it because I beat the game and I did a lot of the side stuff too. Some of the super bosses. I ain't quite finished the DLC just yet. But man, this game is like I said, I think I said this on the podcast also. Like it hits different for me personally because I get where all the inspiration came from. Like if you never played an RPG or like the older ones, you won't understand like some of the stuff that this game has in it and why it's so profound. I love the combat system. The pairing is dope. It also has like DNA for Souls lovers. Like this game has some Souls DNA in it with like the pairing and like 2 obviously direct references to Souls characters with some of the bosses, especially Simon. He's like the most infamous. This game, it looks beautiful. The soundtrack is phenomenal. I mean, there were certain times I was fighting bosses where like the music pop. I'm like, wait, this like it was such a banger, but it didn't quite feel like the music I thought I would hear in this game. I'm like, when you fight like the first the big puppet, the one with the turrets, I was like, this I would expect to hear this type of soundtrack. I'm sitting there bobbing my head. I'm like, hold on now. But yeah, I mean, it's a story of like an existential crisis. You're dealing with like your mortality. So it's like it's very deep. Like when you get into just like what's happening, like just knowing like, hey, every time this number counts down, whoever's that age, if you're over that, it's a wrap. It's done for you. So it's like, man, like this very like deep thing of like just thinking about life and like maybe when your time is, and it's just like something a lot of time we don't necessarily like think about, because sometimes people don't like to think about like their mortality and stuff like that. But great bosses. The combat system to me is very deep with like the Pictos. If you like a game that like got a lot of builds and you want to like, I want to build for this, I want to build for that, builds where you can do like millions and billions of damage, this is the game for you. I mean, you literally get most games, it's funny because back in the day, 9,999 was like the peak. If you did that, you was like, man, hey, you can't touch me, man. And then like as time progressed, there's games that like not Sea of Stars, but Star Ocean for one. You get into 10,000, you just see numbers on the screen. You're like, what is happening? And the Expedition 33 is like, oh, we got something for you. 10 billion, 20 billion. You're like, I'm pretty sure I don't think there's any game that I've seen that has the damage numbers that this game has. Granted, you can make things harder by you can give the enemies like up to times 100 health. So that'll like, if you feel like you're doing too much damage and you want to like make it a little harder, you can do that. But yeah, this game to me was fantastic. I get it. It's like everybody talked about it. Some people like, man, everybody talking about it, I don't want to play it. But for me, being an RPG fan, this was the one for me. Like I said, I enjoyed every bit of it. Simon was a blast to fight. And I know Terrence mentioned this with Hades. Like one reason why I like sometimes challenging games is because like the level of like accomplishment you get when you start to get better or something. It's like, man, I'm getting cooked by this, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, you doing the cooking. So all you doing the cooking now, right?
I'm doing the bit.
So
look at me, look at me. I'm the cook now.
yeah, you like. I just.
Oh, so you doing the period?
So you doing the cooking? Yeah. I just love that feeling, and it's definitely one of those games where sometimes certain enemies are boss, you first run into them, and you be like, brother, what is this attack pattern? Like, why you winding up so long? But once you like just calm down and kind of get like the pattern, and you see like, okay, they got a certain number of moves. There's little cues to show you like which move they might do. Sometimes the sound is also a cue for like being able to parry stuff. It was a great game. I enjoyed it. Shout out to Sandfall. Hopefully this becomes like a new type of Final Fantasy where it's like Clair, Obscur, and they just, it's a series they've got ongoing, a franchise. So yeah, it was a game of the year for a reason. My personal game of the year. So yeah, enjoyed it, top to bottom.
This game, I think my problem with it was that I came to it far too late, and so there was just way too much fanfare and talk about it, and so it built it up in my mind, and I never was able to lock in. I was never able to connect with it on a level where I'm like, all right, we locked in. I was always just on the outskirts of falling in love with this game. That said, I can appreciate it for its music, its voice acting, its art design, like all of that is at the highest level. Like it's just so impressive what they managed to do on a budget and with like such a small team, like comparatively, like even with the outsourcing, it's like, yeah, but your main team was still so small. So there are a lot of elements that people love about this game that do drive me up a wall, from like the lack of a mini map, the lack of quest objectives, like all that stuff. Even the battle system kind of gets on my nerves. Like the game, it kind of rewired my brain. Like I've seen people play the game now, and it like to play this game and to actually progress in it, like you have to raise your skill ceiling because they're not going to raise the skill floor. Like I'm sorry, you're on your own. You got to figure it out. Even playing it on easy, if you go and fight an enemy that's like a couple levels, too many levels higher than you, it will wash you. Like I don't care nothing about it being easy. I don't care if you can't figure out the attack pattern to some degree, to learn how to dodge, to learn how to parry, it's over with. I don't care what difficulty you put this game on. I went and put this game on easy. I was like, all right, I'll put it on easy. And I was like looking at a guy. The guy was like, oh yeah, it's a boss over here. He's kind of hard, but you can fight him if you want to. I said, all right, I'll try it out. Man, that boss beat me 6 ways to Sunday, bro. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to dodge. I was missing the dodge prompts. I'm like, bro, this game is on easy. You miss the dodge prompt, it don't matter. Like the game, he does all of the damage to you, and you just out in one hit. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I see. So that's why I say like this game kind of rewired my brain. Like even looking at some of the fight scenes in this, I'm like, this is where you would have to dodge. This is where you have to parry. Like, you have to know that, because otherwise, like, you just not gonna survive in this game. But I mean, like, that said, I applaud them for allowing you to create as many different builds as you want. Just like Devin said, like, there's no limit to what you can do. Like, if you're bad at parrying, you don't have to parry. They got a lot of pictos, like the different equipment spell, like techniques that you can equip that are like active and passives and like that type shit. But some of them are designed towards parrying. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them is like, hey man, you know, you're not gonna parry. We will just make you harder to kill. And so you can learn to dodge and you can do all this other stuff and you can get points based off of that and survive based off that. It just allows you to play how you want. I will always applaud a video game for that. My truly controversial opinion, apparently, because I went online, saw a lot of people arguing about this. The game to me really takes off at the end of the second act and with the start of the third act, where it poses some really fascinating philosophical questions, really puts the characters through an emotional ringer. And I mean, like, I'm sorry, no spoilers, but Verso's ending is the proper ending. I'm sorry, y'all just gonna have to suck it. Like, stop telling me about Mael and all that. Verso's ending is the correct ending, period. I think that covers it. Did anybody want to mention real quick any games, like any honorable mentions that just barely missed the cut?
For me, I want to put 2XKO on the list because I mean I am a fighting game guy. Unfortunately, City of the Wolves just didn't hit the mark for me. But I did play a lot of 2XKO. I guess you could say it. I know it's technically supposed to be like officially releasing about 2 weeks or about a week and a half. But I feel like last week it actually came out on PC. You could play it. It wasn't like a beta or anything that was going to leave. So I still got to give it a shout out. Fun game. Definitely one of those games that, like, you get your hands on it. People get their hands on it. It's going to be rough because you're fighting people. And when they learn the game, it's just like Marvel, you know, any fighting game for that matter. It's going to get kind of tough when people start figuring out the meta and the characters and the different combinations of what fuses to use and stuff like that. The game looks beautiful. I do like the soundtrack. I think the characters are cool. Can't wait to see more characters. So I got to give that a shout out. And also Ninja Gaiden 4, which is the game that just almost made the cut, but then not quite. Ninja Gaiden is funny because it's almost like an opposite of Metal Gear Solid 2, where people didn't like Raiden because they wanted to play with Snake. I liked Yakumo better than I did like playing Ryu, which is weird because it's just this weird thing. You only play with him like literally for 4 missions. That's maybe an hour and a half total. So little. That's why I even told Terrence, like, that game, the ending falls off of me. Like, the ending was just, that last boss was just so underwhelming. Like, I really just would have rather it just been ended with you fighting Ryu. With you fight Ryu, then you go fight the last boss. But as action and stuff, the fighting, the combat with Yakumo is, you get in a flow state. It is so fun. It brought me back to those days of playing Ninja Gaiden Black, and I'll never get tired of Zuna dropping a demon on his head. So, got to give a shout out to Ninja Gaiden.
I'll give one shout out. There's an indie RPG that came out last year called Geo Mythica, and it's like super retro style RPG. When you see it looks like really retro. But the cool part about it, Black protagonist. The setting is unique. It's in the North America. So some of the settings you'll go to would be like you go to ruins in
like Earthbound
South America. Kind of. No, actually, not really. I would say maybe more so because it's like real time with pause combat, which is very unique. Very unique for the time. So maybe some games like Terra Enigma, something like that. But very, very retro aesthetic. But in the United States, so you'll just walk around the world map and you go to Georgia and California and Mississippi. I went to Tuscaloosa and saw the stadium. I was like, what? This is crazy. I mean, it's very retro, so it's not gonna look as amazing, but the setting is just so unique and the combat's unique. And there's a lot of customization with your characters, with the abilities you can give them. Just a little cute like indie game I saw that I've been looking forward to, and it was pretty good. I haven't finished it yet, but I just gave it a shout out because how many RPGs you get to play in North America and go to like Cali or Texas or Mexico and just visit different spots like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Shit, how many RPGs are you playing as a black man?
You know,
like
not
as
enough.
the lead character.
Yeah.
I mean,
not enough is what they say.
I mean, hey,
Actually, you made me think of a third one. I just want to say throw in South of Midnight. I forgot to add that one. I played enough of it. I didn't finish it, but I did like that game.
I'm waiting on the PS5 release for that one.
I do want to go back and play a little bit more of South Midnight. I'm upset that it didn't hit the way that people wanted it to hit, but I'm glad that it exists because it does seem like it did achieve a lot of what it wanted to do, even if it didn't achieve 100%. So, my two real quick Power Wash Simulator 2. I mean, like that's probably the other game that I spent a ridiculous amount of time on. I believe, 24 hours that I just spent playing that game. It's just fun. It like once again entering a state of zen where you just like zone out and you're just cleaning shit, and it's just you and the stadium that you cleaning and you're not thinking about it, or you in this ancient tomb or whatever. And they know how to have fun with that game. And you're not just cleaning people's cars. Sometimes you interact with time travelers, and you got to save the world by cleaning shit. It's just they know how to have enough fun with it without like getting away while keeping the main thing the main thing. And then of course, like I said, Arc Raiders. I do want to go back and play a little bit more of Where Winds Meet. I think I will try to make that a bit of a priority, just so I can say like, okay, I did experience this game, because I was so taken by it when I first saw it, and I just didn't think it was going to achieve at the level that it achieved. So I do want to give it its fair shake, give it at least another 10, 15 hours, see if it properly hooks me. And if it does, I'll catch up with the story. I don't know how long I'll play it, because it is one of those forever games, but I do want to go back for it. So, all right, I think that's going to wrap this week up, my bad. What are your favorite games of 2025? Drop a comment, let us know. If you're new to us and like this episode, I need you to hit the like button. I need you to subscribe. I need you to tell your friends about us, and do me a personal favor. Have an excellent week. Peace.